So guys, we lost connection last time. We'll do it again. So the first question was, why don't you post your videos on YouTube? And you said that it's all a matter of intention, that you want to help people, that you don't really care about the views or the subscribers or stuff like that, right?
Yeah, to a degree. And just to add to that, one thing that you might be experiencing as well is the power of, focusing on one thing at a time. So if you want to add more sources of social media, start with one, learn how to really access who you want to speak to on that. And then move out, because, if you attempt to do everything at once for the first time, then
I used to try to do that.
You don't get anywhere.
I tried to do that and it so blocked me. It got me so fucking scared. So yeah, one thing at a time, I started to do YouTube videos and it feels like my vibration is raising so high right now. It's like I'm stepping into another dimension, so to say, of thought, of consciousness, of beliefs, of vibrations, of frequencies, of everything. Just doing that one thing every day and see how it makes me grow.
Right. Yeah, the power of momentum and that compounding effect, day in, day out, and the consistency, and exactly.
Yeah, that's true. And every action is reaction. Once you start to do one thing, then the other thing will just pop up out of nowhere, right? Because like you said, it's just a set of momentum. And tell me, what else do you like to create during the day?
Yeah, so right now I'm a full-time coach. So I focus on working with creatives, artists, purpose-driven creatives of any sort, really.
Wow.
And it's really focused on helping creatives get clear on what they stand for, what do they really value, what's holding them back from being confident in themselves, because, any form of art, what really allows that to flourish and expand and be authentic is learning at your core, what do you really stand for? What do I really want to share with the world? So help artists get clear on that so that they can really stand in their own artistic journey, really unhinged from all the noise of the media and everything, and I should do this, I should do that. And
that's what I want to say, that these are some kind of blockages, the media and the external world, the external events start to block you, right? So it's a rough...
And with that...
What you saying?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, and with that, for me, how I personally kind of learned where I wanted to be helping is, I was living in LA for a few years as a musician. I was playing in a rock band out there. Before that, I was doing visual arts full time.
Okay, cool.
And through my journey, I just kind of saw how easily you can start to play a role within a scene and kind of lose yourself and lose your own artistic journey. So, so that's led me to here.
Yeah, the artistic journey. I like to talk in my videos about the 4 steps of consciousness in becoming your greatest versions. So the first step would be the one that you don't really question reality. You don't really know who you are. You just let your subconscious mind flow through you and not really questioning it. And the second step would be, like you would say, the artist, the one who becomes more aware of his reality. What do you think are the best steps to get more conscious?
What do I think are the best steps?
Yeah.
I mean, one big thing is learning to accept how little we know, and the more you can sit in not knowing, the more receptive you can be to new ideas and creating more of that consciousness. And I think it's a constant process, but one thing that I've found has been really helpful for myself and the people I work with is learning how we actually create our thoughts in the first place. So this is something I actually spoke to today, I think, online as well, is, you know, every emotion, every pain we feel, every thought we have is loaded with a set of submodalities, meaning, you know,
What do you mean by submodality?
like, say you find yourself overwhelmed by a certain emotion. Let's say anxiety, for example, just as a general example, anxiety.
Yeah.
If you were to inquire on that, you can start to see that, you know, you can pinpoint a location. A lot of times you might feel that kind of in your chest, and usually they'll have a movement to it and even a color to it. And when you start to see these things that are surrounding it, you can start to become more conscious that that is something you've created. And then you can add a level of objectivity to it where you can start to control a little bit more of what's flowing. And same thing applies to beliefs and stuff. You know, you can start to see, you know, how did I decide that this is the belief that I choose to create?
Okay.
When you ask yourself, how did I decide this? That allows you to look back and be like, okay, this is a decision I made.
So through, sorry to interrupt. So through that objectivity that you were speaking of, you would move directly into action. So you recognize the emotion, you say that it's something objective, and then say, let's do something about it, like move into action.
Yeah. You know, when you have that objectivity, that at that point you can then inquire on how to take action without being wrapped up in the emotion, because now you're looking from an external point of view a little bit.
Yes,
and
you
then,
separate
you
yourself.
know, you're not overwhelmed and just like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do. You're now kind of looking at it from a distance and you're like, well, what can I learn from this with, you know, this level of this distance or discernment.
I love the combination of us, because you're more humanistic and I'm more like spiritual. I like different dimensions, spirituality. I like the spiritual world more. And this combination is like, I see you develop personal development stuff. You only talk about this kind of things, right?
Yeah.
And me, I'm going far.
Yeah, you know, it's the same language, just, you know, different, or two different languages,
The same thing.
same purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Yeah. So I'm 27.
27. Nice.
27. Yes. Yeah. And just to add to that, as far as, you know, developing that consciousness, you know, one very powerful thing in service of learning how to stand on your own path is developing a clear understanding of the values that are important to yourself for living. You know, not externally, but for you, what is important to you? What do you value in terms of living? And as you get clear on that, essentially what that formulates is a compass for yourself to kind of course correct your path a little bit. So, you know, on a more spiritual side, it allows you the room to have faith in the journey and trust the process, and, you know, feel that it will unravel exactly how it should, because you can trust that as you get clear in your own values, you don't have to look 5 years ahead, because as long as you keep following that, it'll steer you in the right direction inherently.
I see. And at the same time, once you start playing the game, the whole universe will play the game along with you, right? It's like the stars, the cosmos will change for you. You are that star in the sky. You are the cosmos. You will change everything.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. And you know, what we believe is true is what eventually will be reflected in our reality.
In our reality. And everything is relative at the same time, right? Like you choose your own reality. It means it doesn't mean it's the same reality for everybody else, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're each so incredibly unique and so much more capable.
Yeah. Someone said
than
that
anything we could ever know, and it's very exciting. Yeah.
Someone said that there are as many realities as people on this planet. So we share different realities, but it's all in the same hologram, let's say.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The universe is
Yeah,
crazy.
that's a fascinating
We're crazy
perspective
as
to
people,
look at.
man. We're crazy as people. We're really what the mind can do is like wow.
Oh yeah. As far as we're aware of, we don't even, haven't even scratched the surface yet. As far as I wonder if we ever will, if we're even capable of scratching the surface. But yeah, I love your point about how in essence, there's as many realities as there are people, because it's very liberating of a thought, I think, to believe that, because it allows you a lot of control to navigate, and everything will respond in service of how you show up in the same way that applies for anybody, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're responsible.
Yeah,
What's
that's
your
full responsibility.
what's your point of view on drugs? You told me you had some experience with alcohol and drugs, maybe I
Mm,
don't remember very well. How did that change you? Because it's all positive, right? It's all going
right,
towards a positive point. Even the
definitely.
negative, that negative turns eventually into a positive, whatever is negative.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I mean, I could give a bit of depth if you'd like, and I can kind of go through a bit of the story of, and it
Sure.
might add a little bit of perspective. So when I was in my early 20s, like many um, millennials and stuff, as you're figuring it out, kind of, I felt quite lost and wasn't really sure of myself, and because of that, I ended up leaning on um, drugs and alcohol quite heavily, the party scene, to create a community for myself.
Was that your point of awakening?
No, definitely not. And as I went through this, you know, um, it kind of spiraled downhill for me. I wasn't indulging in, I think there are substances that can very much help shift your perspective, but for
Sure.
me, it was on the damaging side. I was using
It for
substances
fun.
to numb and kind of just have quick validation.
All
And
right.
over time, that kind of really started to wear on me, and I would avoid problems, and I started to really lose my way, and struggled with that for quite a while. Um, while also, there was a lot of good moments, and I regret none of them. It really is what shaped me, and it put me through some hard moments, to be honest. Where whether it was ending up in the hospital or whatever, but it taught me how to be vulnerable, and the importance of community, and a solid community that will support you in your times of need. So I started to access that through this journey, and it wasn't until I decided that I was only going to use substances with intentional use from now on, that a big shift started to happen. I was already doing a lot of personal development work, but once I decided that I was going to take full ownership of my life, my path, and how I was showing up, you know, when I decided that, that's how I stopped doing the vices of alcohol and smoking, um, you know, cocaine and all of that kind of thing, and shifted to, what can really help elevate a little bit, given the right context. I think it really depends on the person, but things like psilocybin and mushrooms and that kind of thing has a lot of potential to help you
It has.
um,
It has.
reframe your mind in a much quicker sense than just personal development. Unless you're using, I use a lot of something called neurolinguistic programming that allows you to make really big shifts in beliefs quite quickly. But psilocybin and those kind of things can have massively profound effects as well, I would say. I don't know if I feel the same way about some of the harder substances, but definitely on the more psychedelic side. I've never done ayahuasca, but
Yeah, me neither.
I'm
I'm curious
curious.
though.
I'm
I'm
curious
curious
about it.
though. Yeah, yeah. Maybe we should do
I have
it
a lot of
together
friends. So
someday.
yeah. I'll meet you in Brazil
Yeah, I'll
or
meet you there,
wherever it is.
man. I'll meet
Yeah,
you there. See you there.
yeah, yeah.
Wanna quit the call and start going into the plane to Brazil?
Yeah, You haven't bought your ticket yet? I already bought
Oh shit, I haven't bought it yet.
it.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I think I was awakening my whole life to this new reality, but I remember I was at a party and I took some MDMA, and that
Mhm.
shifted myself completely. I mean,
Mhm.
I felt like I was going crazy before that party. I felt like I had all
Mhm.
these subconscious thoughts coming towards me, and maybe I could have controlled them, but if I controlled them, then something uncomfortable would have happened inside of myself.
Mhm.
So I chose not
Mhm.
to control them, and I went to this party and I got into this thing called MDMA, and then boom, the spiritual awakening happened, and it happened so fast. It was like a roller coaster of emotions, right?
Mhm.
Because it
Mhm.
showed me that there is polarity in the negative and the positive, and
Yeah.
then it lasted for 1 year. I was so focused, so smart, so connected, and then I went to college, and then
Mhm.
something broke inside of myself, and I have experienced the dark night of the soul, where I was in hospital for 3 times, and it really sucked, man, because I was
Mhm.
thinking that someone else was controlling my thoughts, which now
Mhm.
I have the belief that it was me then and my higher self.
Right.
So I'm still playing with myself now
Yeah.
with this past experience that I have had. It's I'm still reprogramming myself from that. I'm still changing myself from that, and I'm still
Right.
recovering myself from that. And I'm moving forward. I have started creating. I have
Yeah.
started creating, and that's a huge step for me, making YouTube videos. And I do one every single day, and it's like really fun.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah. No, I love the consistency and everything. So as far as where do you kind of see yourself growing in the next 6 months or so?
I want to move cities. I want to go to another city and start a transpersonal psychology course class. I have
Mhm.
someone there who would have helped me, and I want to
Mhm.
promote my YouTube videos, grow my channel,
Mhm.
and be a public speaker, maybe talking about consciousness, vibrations,
Right.
universe, all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also feel that I need a coach to do that. I'm not sure I can do it alone, because I tried to
Right.
be the loner wolf for a long time, and it didn't seem to work very well, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think there's
where do you
such
see
massive
yourself?
in 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Um, to be honest, the flow I have right now, I'm very, very happy with continuing to work with artists one on one and creatives one on one and just, you know,
So you're the coach?
seeing
You're the
them
coach,
grow.
or are you being coached?
Well, I'm on both sides. So I coach clients, but then I also work with a mentor as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, yeah, who, I think, like you were saying, it's so important to really practice what you preach. So, as you're sharing and helping other people,
Yeah,
also continuing your own personal growth along the way, it really helps to get that external perspective from someone who maybe just not even be further along, but maybe just further along in a different avenue that you might not see, and they can give you an external perspective.
sure.
And not to mention the power of accountability. It's,
Mm-hmm.
um, someone who can catch the ways you're limiting yourself and get you to stop tiptoeing around certain things and just go straight through. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, mentorship is I'm very excited that we're living in a time now where it's becoming more and more accepted and less taboo, I guess, to
To
to,
do
to
what you
work
want,
with.
right?
yeah, and to work with a coach in like a life coach or that kind of thing. You know, at one point I think it had a bit of stigma around it, at least in North America, and you know now it's being much more accepted as um, just as important as a fitness coach or something. So yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So with that, yeah, I'm actually going to be going to LA on Wednesday, where I'm going to be diving deep with a mentor of mine for the whole month. Actually, we're going to be learning a lot about something called neurolinguistic programming and
What's that
a
actually?
type
What's that actually? Things you say
neurolinguistic
to
programming.
yourself that become reality or something?
Essentially, it's kind of a conglomeration of a lot of different therapeutic techniques that work. You know, when you go back through time, there's a lot of cases of people that solved certain problems they were having without therapy, and you know they looked at that. It's like, okay, like what did that person do that made that shift, or what is this stellar therapist, like what was he doing? And it kind of is a culmination of all that into very rapid techniques that allow people to take more control over their thoughts while also working very much so on the I'm pointing back to like the subconscious mind. It works through a lot of limiting beliefs, limiting decisions you might be telling yourself. And the most powerful thing is working through emotional baggage, meaning, say for example, some people find anger is something that is very prevalent for them, where
And they get
you know
addicted to that. They get addicted to anger and to frustration, and
right,
you just stay there.
and you get caught in it, and somebody might honk their horn at you, and then next thing you know you're mad for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And one of the techniques that I have found extremely powerful, it's called timeline therapy, where you put someone into a meditation and access their subconscious and go back to one of the earliest memories that they actually learnt that emotion. So the first time you may have learnt that anger, and then you pull yourself out of it so then you can learn some empowering positive intentions that could have come out of that moment that you may have missed at that time in your life.
Okay, so
Um,
you change their perspective of what has happened, right?
yeah, exactly. And you do that so early on that then transfers over any other moment that you have felt that anger, and then you can just feel clean anger, because anger is a good thing to feel if it's clean, but when it has like the weight of a lifetime, it's hard to move forward.
It's hard to move forward, yeah. And
Yeah,
psychology says that we only remember parts of the past. We don't remember it completely, so it's like a bit illusioned, right? You don't remember the exact moment, you remember bits of it, and sometimes it's not even true. So
exactly.
you can
In a
when
way, we can almost create it. Yeah,
yeah, it's like we create it in the now, and everything happens in the now actually.
yeah, yeah.
What's your
It's very fascinating.
yeah, what's your perspective on the fact that time happens simultaneously, like the past, present, and future happening all now and they're all connected?
Right. Yeah. That is one thing I haven't really spent a lot of time diving into. Um, so as far as my perspective on it, like you were saying, I think, starting with the past, um, the way that we perceive the past now is all that exists.
Yeah.
And the way we perceive the past now is, in a sense, kind of a created thing from our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And so knowing that can be very empowering to realize, because that allows you to kind of take control of, you get to choose your past in a way. Um,
You get to choose your past in a way. I agree with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or what it means to you. And then same thing with the future. Um, yeah, the future is an interesting one where I think, I think there is a degree that we don't create our future, but then there's a very strong part that we co-create our future.
With who?
So
We co-create with who? With our higher selves?
I think we co-create with our environment.
Yeah.
I think we co-create with our higher selves, most definitely, and then we also, I think, to a degree, are susceptible to the environments that we're in, and obviously we can choose how we frame that, and we can manipulate that and move into new environments. But yeah, I think that's definitely a factor that cannot be completely overlooked. Yeah, how about you? What would be your perspective on the future a little bit?
I'm not sure. I'm not trying to focus so much on it. I'm trying to be as present as I can, but I really trust that everything is happening for me. And I'm not really trying to put things out into the future that I want to create. I'm actually focusing more on the now, like really on the now. Like sleeping well, eating well, doing push-ups, reading, starting to do videos, all of these type of things. And the future is like, okay, it's coming, I'll be there, I'll do what I can from where I can.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. The choices that create our future are the ones that we make today. So
Yeah.
like it's great. The more you focus on the now, it's like, okay, like
The
if you
future
want to
gets
be,
easier.
yeah, if you want to be really strong, you don't focus on being jacked 10 years from now. You focus on, what can I do today? I can do push-ups today. I
Yeah.
can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little decisions we make every day are really the ones that shape our destiny. Yeah.
Don't you think that this game of self-development imprisons us a little bit and we get too addicted to it?
It definitely can. It definitely can. And that's the reason I think that happens is because of marketing, where there's a lot of appeal for courses to be like, 10 steps to happiness, 5 steps to fulfillment, and all these things.
And you want it, and you're subconsciously focusing on the fact that you don't really have it, right? And that becomes your reality.
Because you're living out of scarcity, where it's like, once I have this, I will be fulfilled, and that kind of thing. But I think, and I just want to add to, because we've been talking about the subconscious a lot. It's what it really comes back to is, all the personal development tools are exactly that. They're tools, but where the core really lies is realizing that you already have all the tools within you. Everything, like, personal development is external add-on stuff that can be helpful, but at the core, you have all the resources within you already, and it's learning to trust that more than anything.
Yeah. I was talking
it's so
today.
easy for so many people become reliant on, I need this, and then I'll be there, and it's like, no, you
don't actually need anything. You don't actually need anything. All you gotta do is to get present, and all things will get figured out. I was actually talking about in a video today about how there is.
Can you still hear me?
Say what? I was actually talking about in a video today about how there is a part of ourselves that has never been hurt, touched, or angered before, and that is spirit. That is pure inspiration. That is pure positive energy. That is pure consciousness. I'll just combine the videos. Perfect, right. So I was talking in a video today about how we have a part of ourselves that has never been hurt, touched, angered, or hurt again before. And that is spirit, that is pure consciousness, that is pure energy, that is pure happiness, that is pure
Yeah.
vibration. And I think that our purpose on this planet is to everybody to connect back to that state of being where there is
Mm-hmm.
no anger, no pain, nor anything. You agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that state of just being, and like you mentioned right before we lost connection there, it all comes back down to presence. I think that state, that is full presence, full acceptance of the current moment. Not challenging reality, because when we challenge reality, we lose 100% of the time. And when we just are in that accepting present moment, and I think that's how we can access that.
Oh, I like your point.
Easier said than done. Yeah.
I like your point, not challenging reality. What do you mean by that? Not challenging reality.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I was saying, every time we challenge reality, we lose 100% of the time, because it's
External.
it's external. Say somebody brings you your meal at a restaurant and it's not what you ordered, you can get frustrated and be like, that's not what I ordered. But you're getting frustrated with the reality, as opposed to being like, oh, like this happened, and responding to it in a way. That's kind of a weird example to give, but you know what I mean? Is
Yeah.
everything happens exactly how it should. And the best thing to do is to look at, like, how are you going to respond, as opposed to react.
Yeah. Preston Smiles talks about this. Careful how you respond and not to react. You know Preston Smiles, right?
I do.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's a very powerful guy. Him and Alexi are two amazing.
And
amazing
Kingston
characters.
too. And Kingston too.
And now Kingston. Yeah.
Yeah. He was he was my catalyst of my awakening. He inspired me so much to do these videos. Around 3 or 4 years ago, I remember I was watching for 2 or 3 hours a day his videos, his flow, his dancing in the videos. And I got inspired by that, and now I'm starting creating myself. So he was like my master, my my non-directly master.
Yeah.
And also Infinite Waters is so wow.
Yeah, both of them are very good communicators, and just they have such great energies about them. I did a few workshops with Preston while I was living in LA, and they're pretty mind-blowing stuff, to say the least. And yeah, his consistency, as you're mentioning with consistency, his ability to generate content and communicate his message day in, day out is truly inspiring to me. I remember in some of my last few days while I was there, I spoke to one of the videographers that he works with, and I just asked, like what is the process like working with a guy like Preston? And the one thing that he said is, his commitment to making the world a better, more loving place, and his commitment to translating that, 24/7 is absolutely incredible. And in a day, they shot like 4 videos, and just go, and it's pretty inspirational.
Consistency, yeah.
Do
you know Abraham Hicks?
I do. I have not read very much of his material, but he is
It's a she.
Oh, she. Okay.
She's talking
that shows
about
how much I know.
Yeah, she's talking about this vibrational vortex where your thoughts create energy, and your thoughts create desire towards the future. and that becomes available in the present moment, and you can always reset yourself every day after you sleep to get everything that you have ever wanted in that day. Yeah, and it's quite easy. She says that you should avoid anything that feels uncomfortable and really start flowing.
Yeah.
So what thought into the future will become reality once you accept it in the now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I think yeah, maybe I'm misunderstanding what comfortable means, because I feel like a lot of times learning to accept what you want in the now, a lot of that can come from sitting in the uncertainty a little bit. Maybe uncertainty
I
is a
see
better
what you're
word than
saying,
discomfort.
but
Yeah.
you want it because if you feel uncomfortable and you still want it, it's because you're not there yet, and you're trying to achieve, and that may not be so authentic. That may not be so natural. I don't know if she's right here, but I think she has a point. Like
Yeah.
really flowing naturally through life.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think yeah, I mean, like we were saying, everybody has their reality. So
Yeah. Reality is
for her,
illusion, though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we're just gonna end up confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm confused of what I'm saying. I'm confused of what you're saying. This video is so useless, man. What we gonna do? Let's go to Brazil, do ayahuasca.
Are we even on this call anymore? I'm confused at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are so many perspectives. There's like 1 million ways to go.
No, there really is. There really is. And yeah, what I've been finding more and more is
I can't hear you.
the subconscious. How now?
I can hear now. Say something.
Okay. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying, to add to all of that, the power of the subconscious to support that when you start to clean up the subconscious a little bit, as far as inquiring upon what are some beliefs that you may have developed when you were a little kid that served you at that point, but now
And that is
are
shame for
working
me.
against you.
That is shame for me. I was so ashamed when I was a kid, and I see that it is kind of translating it into the present now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was so
Oh, that's
ashamed.
interesting. So with that, you might find it interesting to like ask yourself, when did you decide to associate shame to that?
Yeah, I still have to work.
Yeah.
I still have to work on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have been presented by my higher self ways to do it, like to sincerely say I love you to people, right? To eliminate
Yeah.
fear. And I felt like, oh, this is so hard, man. This is so hard. And then I said it, and I won it, and now I have free will on it. So it's like you have to
Yeah.
work a little bit on it before it
Yeah.
gets natural, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. And now I'm just
Yeah.
contradicting myself with what I said with Abraham Hicks. But right?
To a degree, but I think we all have our own style that works for us. You pick what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. Pick your style.
Yeah.
Pick your
But I mean,
style.
I love what you're saying right now, as far as I can't remember the exact words you said, but telling someone that you love them, or whatever, to um, I guess move yourself forward, because let's say this is our reality. This little box is our reality, and on this side, this is like comfort and certainty and everything, and that's good. It keeps us safe. But to really shift that reality to maybe where we want to go, it's going to take a few growing pains and a little bit of discomfort that will then pull us over here, and then make, eventually that discomfort just becomes the new normal, and then you have you're that much closer to what you're.
I actually got presented the game to do the work, and I quit.
Really?
I quit like in this autumn. I got presented like, so I had my dark night of the soul, and then boom, something happened. You're awake now, do the work. And I first started it, then I got scared, then I said this is bullshit, and then I quit. Then I went on playing safe anymore. And playing it safe is actually a smart choice. It's a smart choice, seeing from this perspective. Preston would say that it's bullshit playing it safe, right? But there's a million ways to go, man. What's your perspective on chakras and Kundalini energy?
I'm not very familiar with it. I know a little bit of Kundalini yoga, and what was it? I think it's tapping kind of thing.
Yeah, I can't hear you well, very well.
Oh yeah.
Now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying I'm not that familiar with it really.
Okay.
Yet there's a
serpent. There's a serpent growing inside of yourself when you start meditating and being present and being honest and being an alchemist and being a human being, a multidimensional being, a constructor, an architect, like you are. So I guess your Kundalini is awakening even if you don't really realize it.
Yeah, I've heard that, and a friend of mine who is quite well practiced in it, very in tune with, I guess, her Kundalini energy, and it's fascinating to watch the effect and kind of the energy it brings out of someone. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with it yet. Maybe while I'm in LA this next month, I'll have to dive into it a bit.
Yeah, my dream is to come to the USA. Maybe we will meet someday. I can't wait to meet you, man, and go to Brazil. Let's focus on that.
Yeah.
How do you spend your sexual energy?
How do I express?
Yeah, that creativity, because the sexual energy is the creative part of ourselves.
I think it's extremely important. I think, how do I express it? For a long time, I expressed it very, it was very volatile, where I was in relationship, just one after another.
Yeah.
But I think, what I've learned is the more you can learn to control that energy while, letting it flow, but controlling it in the sense of not needing to express it all the time in a sexual manner. Having that sexual energy is worth waiting for the right partner or partners. And in the meantime, you can really express it through your work. When I say work, I mean, your passions, your writing, your YouTubing, all of that.
Yeah.
Be a great source, where, you can translate that energy through that in a very passionate way. That it's some of the most energetic energy, I would say.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. So how do we
Yeah.
end this call? I think it's time. You have more time?
I'm getting to an end point here. Yeah. Yes, I have to run off pretty quickly here.
It was fun, man. You're really smart, and I appreciate everything that you do. Keep going and keep the work.
Thank
And
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
good luck with your clients. Good luck with your coach. Good luck
Likewise.
with
Thank you.
and see you in
I appreciate
Brazil.
it. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. How about we'll have to do another one of these calls for
Yeah, we can trade again in like 1 month. See how we have progressed.
yeah. Yeah. I'm in. I'm in.
Okay, I'm in too. See you,
All right,
man.
brother.
Bye. Peace.
What's up?